direction.
Go all the way down the road past the big gray warehouse.
Take the next exit.
You're not from around here, so you don't know the back roads.
I don't want to be late for the party.
I'm gonna save us 5 minutes.
Some people just know what road to take.
You're on the fastest route.
Those are the people who know safe drivers save 40% with Allstate.
Leftovers again?
Easy dinner for 2.
And only 2.
Pillsbury cheesy chicken bacon ranch crescent rolls. They're as easy as fill, roll, and bake.
It's been a while since I joined the Clean Plate Club.
No kidding.
Fill, roll, bake. With Pillsbury.
DirecTV Sports Central gives you access to every game, but Terry doesn't have DirecTV.
Come on, work with that.
Here. Now, you can find the game easy.
Barbecue is saved.
Visit DirecTV.com for up to a $400 reward card.
My barbecue is ruined.
Big Noon Saturday is sponsored by DirecTV. Stop compromising. Start watching. Upgrade to DirecTV. Always fun when Big Noon's in town. You didn't do that to Brady or anything. Take his hat and spike it down when you're down on the set, did you?
No.
It's Tony Sands, former Kansas running back. This place is going to get a major renovation soon. Here in Lawrence, they've got a whole gateway district coming up, taking bids on it. And this will revolutionize the way Kansas football looks and feels. They already have one of the best basketball venues in the land in Allen Fieldhouse. This is behind the line. Walker breaks it down, cuts inside, gets hit but keeps his feet. Berryhill sort of pinballed off of him like a flipper.
You just kind of felt it, haven't you, Jason? They took that first punch, big punch, uppercut, 14-0. And really, since in that previous drive was just going north and south right at you as the Jayhawk defender is down, and that's a big loss. That's big boy Devin Phillips right in the middle of that defensive line. Keenan Caldwell knocked out earlier, but you've just seen a response. Lance Leipold feels it down there. Like, yeah, we came out swinging, man, but Oklahoma, pretty darn battle tested, scarred from a year ago, and have turned around the physicality meter here over the last 2 possessions.
Yeah, Phillips, the 4-year starter at Colorado State, here at Kansas. And we're talking to Brian Borland, the defensive coordinator for Kansas, about the way Oklahoma rotates defensive linemen. And the Sooners have played 19 defensive linemen this year. Borland said to us, I don't even know if we have 19 defensive linemen, so losing 2 this early is not a great sign.
And Coach Borland knows that you have to, against the beef and the strength of Oklahoma, play those 6 guys. You've already lost Caldwell. This is not a good sign as you're seeing Phillips barely putting weight on that ankle. 6 defensive tackles, that's a good number. You can win with that. You can sustain. 4 against this tempo becomes a lot more difficult.
Gage Keys and Caleb Taylor are in right now. They have a combined 11 tackles all year for the Kansas Jayhawks. Second down and 3 under 9 to go in the first half for undefeated Oklahoma on the road. They have Bedlam next week in Stillwater. Tough pocket of the schedule. Walker has been running with vigor.
Careful, guys, careful. Nice job there by Andrew Ram. I'm celebrating those Kansas Jayhawks. A little easier to do because they huddle, but let me tell you, this Oklahoma O-line has put it together these previous 2 possessions.
All Big 12 last year, honorable mention Ram. Even in a tough year for Oklahoma standards. Another handoff, and right out of the cannon is Walker to the 45-yard line.
Nice little trap play. You call that a wham block. Austin Stogner, the tight end, comes down. He's actually the one in charge of kicking down that D tackle.
You're right, Brock. You can feel Oklahoma leaning on Kansas here.
They just said enough. Enough of that perimeter stuff, enough of trying to throw the rhythm passing game. Let's just get back to running it and testing the metal right between the tackles. And the wind, the rain, the 38 degrees probably plays a role in it as well.
20 runs, 7 passes for the Sooners so far.
The play has been suspended.
Oh, there's lightning in the area, and they are stopping play.
At this time, the game is suspended until the weather no longer poses a
How about that? Wow. I mean, it's not exactly the 2016 World Series, Cubs and Cleveland, but you felt the momentum swinging to Oklahoma, and that's the only thing tropical here in Lawrence right now. Okay, so here, Kansas, you feel like just based on the moment that we were in,
yes,
Kansas gets a little bit of a break.
They do, a little bit of a reprieve, because Oklahoma has said 20 out of 27 plays we're going to run it. And remember, that first series was a couple passes, including the pick six. So let's just really see this group that we ran for nearly 300 yards on a year ago. Let's really see if they figured us out. Let's really see if they can physically match up with us. And right now in that front seven, they're having a hard time containing this Oklahoma run.
And to be clear, this is not a situation with leeway, right? This is a hard and fast rule by the NCAA. If there's lightning in the area, there's lightning in the area, and you can't play. So 14-7 Kansas with the lead over Oklahoma. It was 14-0 the Jayhawks. Then the touchdown for Dylan Gabriel, and an important one at that, because look, the Sooners are undefeated. We saw them last year very early in the year against Kansas State. That was a game they lost by 7 points. It was one of 5 one-score losses they had in that season, including the Final Four. They have made substantial changes to have the ability to win games in the fourth quarter. Now, right now, with Kansas leading, Oklahoma driving, you do feel like the Kansas Jayhawks get a pause button that could help.
Yeah, I really appreciated what Brent Venables said to us earlier this week about scars. You know, we just didn't flush last season. Those have left some scars on us. That adversity that was real, that we went through, played at a level that is nowhere near the expectation and the standard at Oklahoma, and we're going to use that as fuel. And you've watched them this season. Not everything has been perfect. Early in the year, sure, they ran away from people. They did that last year. But that Texas game was so huge for them on so many levels, Jason, to say, yeah, we're not last year's team. Right? We probably would not have won that game last year. Now we're battle tested. Now we've added a lot more beef. Now we know who we are, and just overcoming adversity. And if you're going to do it in college football, we know it's not about September. It's not about even October. It's about being battle tested and ready to go when it matters here for the stretch run.
And it's right now, right? They're at Kansas, a team that, even though they lost to Oklahoma State, still a very strong team. Then they go to Stillwater coming up next week for Bedlam. So we will update you on the weather. Feels like baseball season. We'll update you on the weather when it tarps off the field. 14-7 Kansas with the lead over Oklahoma and a lightning delay.
You don't have to wait until retirement to start enjoying your plans. With Pacific Life, imagine your future with confidence. For more than 150 years, we've kept our promise to financially protect and provide, so you can look forward to exploring your family's heritage with the ones you love. Talk to a financial professional about life insurance and retirement solutions with Pacific Life.
Your paint is really bad. What? I said best coffee I've ever had. Should have used Bear. Sorry, sign where? No, I said should have used Bear.
Today, let's paint. Right now, get America's most trusted paint brand at a new low price. Bear, only at the Home Depot.
Get iPhone 15 Pro with titanium from Boost Infinite and transcend to a wireless utopia where you'll experience unparalleled coverage on America's smart network and save up to 40% on your monthly bill. Infinitely better.
A truck is a tool, but a Ram is life. Yeah, it's the wipe the sweat off your brow sort of life. But it's also the let's load up the ATV's life. The my kids play way too many sports life. The let's find a secret spot to fish life. That looks nice. Innovations, comforts, and powertrains built to power all the lives you live. Ram.
The 3 for Me only at Chili's gets you a bottomless drink, bottomless chips and salsa, an entree like a cheeseburger and fries, the chicken bacon ranch quesadilla, or a steak with loaded mashed potatoes, starting at just $10.99. Wait a minute, that can't be right. Rewind. So you get a drink, all the chips and salsa you can eat, a giant entree, and a side starting at just $10.99? Oh, someone's gonna get in trouble for this one. This Chili's 3 for Me is the best $10.99 you can eat.
Quiet on the set. We're ready. 4, 3,
Big Noon Saturday is sponsored by Pacific Life, creating financial security for more than 150 years. And by Ram Trucks, built to serve. You don't often see the late October pre-Halloween lightning delay, but such is life here in Lawrence, Kansas, and a huge game in college football. And there's a lot of that going around. Road tests for ranked unbeaten teams right now today. Kansas up 14-7. And yes, we heard so much about the sleek offenses coming in. In the past games, you just assume, right, based on the number and based on the points expected. The run games have decided this one to this point.
Yeah, we did know coming into today that weather would play some kind of role. I mean, we knew it would be cool. We knew it would be breezy. You know, even Brent Venables, a guy that grew up in Kansas, knew that, hey, man, that north wind comes and it gets very real weather-wise. So it isn't as if both teams were not prepared for this. But since that pick six by Dillon Gabriel, 5 for 5 passing, 4 rushes, including a touchdown. And, 20 plays that they have run. And really since that interception, it was like, okay, let's click into being the team at the line of scrimmage that can push these Jayhawks around.
More on his leadership in a moment, but let's show everyone how we've gotten to this point. You mentioned the pick six.
Yeah, this was early, and it was just a quick little double hitch. On a cold day, you want to make sure everything is right. The problem are experienced corners for Kansas that have their eyes on you. A huge play by Mello Dotson. And then it was Kansas really imposing their physical will. A group that's been together a long time up front. A run game that's established. And this is what I love, the response. Football's a game of response. Football's a game of adversity and how you're willing to overcome it. And as much as Dillon Gabriel has got himself in this Heisman conversation with all of these pretty numbers, right? All these touchdowns, 71% completion. I said to you at the start of the game, just the more you watch him this year, and maybe it's prisoner of the moment with Max Duggan in the Big 12 last year, but when you get a veteran guy that has been there and done it, he just elevates the people around him, no matter what the circumstances are. Doesn't have to be pretty. Doesn't have to be perfect. Against Texas, if I got to run for 113 yards, I'll run for 113 yards to win it. Kind of get to the 5th year in this stage of starting 40 games, you know what it takes to win.
Well, everything's been through too. Broken clavicle a couple of years ago at UCF, the transfer to this place that has such a history, and Oklahoma wasn't going to stand for this very long. And Brent Venables said to us this week, hey, we knew if our defense even got a little bit better, we could compete for the Big 12 title, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah, and cut the points in half. The offense has also been picked up, 43 points a game. That's a remarkable number. But 30 points a game defensively last year is some of the worst numbers they've ever had. And you have to look in the mirror and say, okay, objectively, what can we do? Now, I will say this, Jason, if it was 10 years ago, I don't know if you could turn it as quickly as you can in today's college football. Today with the transfer portal wide open. Today with the NIL money and the resources that Brent has in Norman, Oklahoma, with a rabid fan base, right, and a commitment to make sure whatever we got to do to compete, we'll do it. So 17 transfers walked in the door here. A bunch of them beefy dudes on that defensive line that make a difference, that give you competitive depth to build out that roster, and they're taking advantage of it.
I have a thought on that in a second, but right now Allison Williams angling for a National Weather Service certification downstairs. What do you have on the weather?
Well, I definitely don't have any. What you can see and what you guys probably know, but just a reminder for fans, if there is a lightning strike within 8 miles, that's what triggers the weather delay. That's what we had take place here in Lawrence. So I spoke with Kansas Stadium officials. They're continuing to monitor the weather, monitor the lightning. If there is another strike, that will extend this delay further. Keep in mind, guys, they will be in constant contact with both teams and afford them the appropriate time required to kind of re-warm back up, about a 5 to 10 minute period, depending on how long this weather delay is. There's another lightning strike, it'll extend by another 30 minutes. So they're just continuing to monitor things. Officials are gathered in their locker room talking with stadium personnel to keep an eye on things and then keep teams updated as we get closer to hopefully restarting this game.
And to be clear, Allison, thank you for that. To be clear, it doesn't even matter if the weather's moving the opposite direction, right? If it's still within the 8 mile radius, even if it's not coming back this way, they still by mandate have to wait another 30 minutes.
Yeah, and you had said at the time that this happened, I mean, you kind of felt like a boxing match, that Kansas was taking punch after punch after punch. So maybe, hey, we get to the end of the round, we can go indoors. I think also a little advantage to be at home. right? To be able to, have friendly confines, to have maybe a little bit more resources on hand. I'm sure Oklahoma packed accordingly. Again, they knew some weather could be in play today, but getting out of a wet uniform and you're cold and getting back going, that can be a challenge sometimes. I think maybe an advantage for either side would tip to and fall on the home team.
We'll get to Mike Hill in 1 second. I do want to ask the worst visiting locker room you were ever in.
Oh, that's Nebraska, and it's not close. Yeah, back in those days, it was pink. The stalls and the urinals were wide open for everyone to see. It was every psychological warfare you could possibly have against your opponent in the 90s.
I am so glad I asked.
Yes.
I'm sure Mike wanted it 15 seconds before, but we had to ask. And thank you so much for enlightening us. That was very specific. Mike Hill in the studio in Los Angeles.
Yeah, inside our dry LA studios here in LA, Mike Hill, that is Bruce Feldman, our coach Chris Peterson hanging out with you. Lawrence, Kansas, in a bit of a weather delay right now. And it seemed like Oklahoma was starting to gain a little bit momentum. How is that going to affect the team when it comes back out after this weather delay?
This is usually one thing that coaches don't really practice for. Sometimes you come out in the second half and you don't start as fast as you'd like to. So sometimes in practice, you might go in and say, hey, this is halftime. But just to stop practice like it's a weather delay, nobody really practices for that. And it does affect momentum tremendously.
Right now, 14-7, Kansas trying to get its first win over Oklahoma since 1997. We'll get you back out to Lawrence as soon as Mother Nature allows. But right now, bonus coverage over on FS1. Send you to Orlando for West Virginia and UCF. Eric Collins and Devin Gardner on the call on that one.
Interesting. Early on the field. It's a catch. It was a catch. Fumble recovered by the defense. Was fumbled away.
Yeah, Jalen Anderson, this is a good pitch. He just takes his eyes off of it. He thinks that he has it, and he doesn't. And because it's thrown backwards, no matter that he bumped it forward, it's a fumble, and Henderson is Johnny on the spot, as we've seen him do throughout this season.
I think that Jalen Anderson knew he was about to get slammed to the ground, and he took his eye off the ball. That's not the worst thing in the world. But it's going to be a turnover. Ball's going to be at the 27-yard line for UCF. So both sides have given the ball away once in our first half. Plenty of time, you'd imagine, for Gus Malzahn and his senior quarterback, John Rice Plumlee, to do some work. They've got all 3 timeouts. To me, if I'm Gus Malzahn, I'm like, I don't want to score too quickly. They always get to the line quickly and move down the field relatively easily, at least so far today. Ideal world, you want to score a touchdown with less than 10 seconds remaining in a half. Don't give it back to West Virginia. Plumlee throws it straight up in the air. I think his arm was hit. It's intercepted. Oh my goodness, Marcus Floyd with the pick. That's the second time Plumlee has been intercepted. That pass was bad from the get-go.
You're going to get pressure right in his face. And because of that pressure, he cannot get all the way through this throw. And when you can't get through the throw, he pops it. It's almost like a punt. Just pops it straight up in the air. And about the easiest interception you're going to get by Marcus Floyd, who is a guy who's in for the injured Hershey McLaurin. Makes an instant impact.
Well, we better give a shout out. That was on the pressure, Edward Vestrennen. He's the one who forced Plumlee to throw it sky high. So Plumlee, 8 passes, 6 completions, 2 interceptions. Odd day.
And Garrett Green is back in the game, which is so important for this West Virginia team, and I'm sure West Virginia fans everywhere are celebrating.
Mountaineers with 2 timeouts to work with. Green throws it on the run, his tight end Taylor. Not much there at all. Clock will move. Gain of 2. Cole Taylor has caught 4 of his 5 targets.
Yes, he did. Yes, he
Oh, over. Goodness, he has got it going on. Here's Oliver Straw. He's got a long way to go to be the most significant football playing Oliver in West Virginia history. Oliver Luck. Great quarterback back in the 80s. Oh, almost fell down. That was a unique delivery by Straw. He leaned so far back, almost fell onto his numbers. 40-yard punt, no return. And how frisky do you get with your senior quarterback, John Rice Plumlee, who's already thrown 2 interceptions, Devin?
Yeah. I don't think you get too frisky. I think you just kind of go in the half. You understand what you're capable of doing. You understand he's got 2 interceptions. They're not true interceptions, in my opinion, not bad decisions, because I think he had his receiver streaking down the field, just couldn't get the ball there on one, and then the other one he made a good throw, and it was popped up in the air. Backed up here in this black zone, I would not, especially with West Virginia not having many timeouts left.
Plumlee designed quarterback run. Well, maybe this will change what they're thinking about. Gets out of bounds. 21 seconds remaining.
Only 6 seconds off the clock. You get to keep all your timeouts because he got out of bounds. That will make you want to try to get this ball at least into field goal range. I think they have the quarterback to do it and the time to do it, and Boomer has a big leg.
For those wondering, UCF is going to get the ball first to begin our second half.
And it's going to be insult to injury, a holding call on R.J. Harvey. He did his best to stand in there and make the block for his quarterback, but this is going to stop this drive completely. Take a knee, go to halftime.
Holding. Offense. Number 7. 10 yards from the previous spot. Still first down.
Yeah, he made great initial contact. I mean, you can see him right in the middle of your screen, fighting for his life as long as he can, but then when the quarterback sprints away, the defender also tries to pull away the freshman, number 15, Ben Cutter. He holds on to him. Got to take a knee here, in my opinion.
Third penalty of the first half for UCF. West Virginia has been penalty-free. Yep, Devin, you called it. Harvey. Earning the meal money. I love it. Harvey giving it out there as the clock continues to move. We've got 5 seconds remaining in our first half.
As much as I want him to take a knee, it's just your guys are so explosive, and you can trust
UCF.
You can trust Harvey. So now they're going to go deep in their bag and try to find some kind of play to make sure they maybe get some points here. I personally would not risk too much, just because, you know, with throwing the ball around, like at the end of the game, what if West Virginia gets hold of that ball and takes it to the end zone? So I will be very conservative here, knowing that in the second half we can go look at what we've done, kind of build on that, and our quarterback's playing well.
Harvey in the first half, 8 carries, 82 yards.
So
we keep talking about the explosive plays for UCF. Yeah. Well, it's basically been R.J. Harvey. He's been a walking explosive play.
Yeah, he's dynamic as far as his patience and being able to see holes, his vision. He's one of the top backs in the country, in my opinion.
So 5 seconds left. Not a lot of options here. Going to have to go super long, hope for a penalty, or go super short and get out of bounds. That doesn't change much. 1 second remaining, and they're still on the wrong side of the 50. Can Plumlee get it to the end zone from there?
I think, what is that? That's 55. Yeah, I think he can get it there. So he'll throw it from about 60. I think Plumlee can definitely get the ball 60 yards in the air to the end zone. So I think that's what they were thinking. Hey, we get a couple more yards, we can throw a Hail Mary and try to get this ball in the end zone.
I'd be impressed if he could get anywhere close to the end zone.
Yeah,
that's a big.
He's a baseball guy.
9 out of the half.
Yeah, but he's throwing a football. I'm sure he can throw a baseball that far. I don't know if he can throw a football that far.
You know, Eric, 6 is not that far. Most top quarterbacks can throw that far, but I've got something for you, Eric. Naquan Wright, Marquez Cooper, Reggie Bryant, a defensive player. What? Jamarius Lewis, 7 tackles, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, and 2 interceptions in their win. Outstanding for the Lobos.
Devin, that's what makes you special. You're the bluest of the blue blood, man. You played at Michigan, man. Doesn't get any more Power 5 than that. Yeah. Starting quarterback for the Wolverines, and you're giving love to the group of 5.
Gotta give love to the group of 5. Nice job by these guys in week 8. Hey, at home, send in who you think. You got fans of these smaller programs who don't get all the love nationally. We'll give you some love here with Eric Collins, Devin Gardner.
I love it, the warm fuzzies. So this should be the final play of our first half. And Plumlee, short and underneath, going to pad some stats.
The old Tyreek Hill throw and then get blockers out in front, but number 10, Jared Bartlett, having none of it.
So that will do it for our first half of play. Offense wasn't a problem for either side. West Virginia leads 17-14 over UCF. Stay tuned for the State Farm Halftime Show after the break.
This is our chant. It resonates through generations, past and future. It drives champions, toe-to-toe and arm in arm. When our chant signals victory, it shakes the foundation. It is the foundation. Together we climb its peaks and search its valleys. It fuels our ambitions. We wear it, fly it, raise it, claim it. This is our chant. What will you do when this is your chant?
The crowd, the atmosphere, this is what makes it special. Here we go. America's most iconic foods are now shipping nationwide. So if you want the best New York bagel, legendary Texas brisket, Ina Garten's famous chocolate cake, Gold Belly It, free shipping nationwide.
Bruno! Bruno! Pup on the run? No problem. With 5 drive modes, Rogue makes this a walk in the park.
Drive the Nissan Rogue. Now get a low $359 per month lease on Rogue or get 0% APR financing for 36 months on the Rogue Platinum.
Medal! Ben Weitzman wants your medal. That's right. Paddle cars, we pay cash. Washers, dryers, aluminum, brass. Highest prices, same day cash. We want your medal. Scrap and steel, and we'll make a deal. You want cash? We want your medal.
Visit Ben Weitzman of Albany in the Port of Albany near the Hudson River.
It's your journey. Own every mile in the Hyundai Tucson with America's best warranty. Lease an all-wheel drive Tucson for $249 a month or get 0% APR plus 0 payments for 90 days. Hurry in.
Our growing family has worked day and night to offer the best service and the latest products for your growing family. Adams Heating and Cooling. Over 50 years of people, over 50 years of family.
Check the time.
Injured? It's time to call the heavy hitters.
1-800-LAW-1010.
Tour of the World Series, tonight at 7 Eastern on Fox.
Live images from Lawrence, Kansas. We're in the midst of a weather delay with Kansas currently working on a major upset. They are up 14-7 on unbeaten and 6th-ranked Oklahoma team. Big noon kickoff back here with you. Urban Meyer, Matt Leinart, Mark Ingram, Brady Quinn, Rob Stone with you, and our huge... What happened to all of our fans that we had earlier today?
So empty.
Where'd they all go?
Lonely.
My goodness.
I'm so
They're all at
lonely.
Bullwinkles right now. Yeah, weather delay right now. There was a lightning hit recorded a few moments ago, so it looks like the earliest this game would resume would be about at the top of the hour. Earlier today on Big Noon Kickoff, we asked the 4 of these guys who was going to win. Raise your hand if you had Kansas winning. Yes, certified Oklahoma hater, Matt Leinart at Kansas.
Listen, I'm already going to get enough
I know
on mine.
you are. That's why I'm pouring it on.
I don't care, actually, so it's fine.
But we asked you, well, Kansas is winning right now.
Yeah.
They were up 14-0. And we asked you, all right, so Kansas is your pick to win it. What do they have to do to execute that? And guess what they followed? Your script.
They had to get off to a fast start because I talked about in the pregame show, Oklahoma outscored their opponents in the first quarter 105-23. They jump off to a fast start. Kansas can't afford to play from behind in this game. And what do they do to start the game? Pick six, shout. That's how you get off to a fast start. Obviously, Dylan Gabriel all season long has done a great job of protecting the football right there. Throws the hitch late. This gets Kansas on the board 7-0. And then when you flip it to the offensive side of the ball, the first drive they stalled, but they went for it on 4th down. They showed the aggressive nature. They scored by running the football and controlling the clock. So you talk about a fast start for Oklahoma. They're up 7 right now, but they couldn't have got off to a better start for them.
How Dylan Gabriel goes, Oklahoma goes. You saw him against Texas. I called it a legendary performance. Some of the other games he hasn't. So right now they got Dylan Gabriel's number, pick 6, but they also had a huge 4th down stop on the opening drive. Both teams, Brady, on the opening drives got down to the red zone. They got stopped on 4th down. When you go for it on 4th down, you know why? You're expecting a high-scoring game. These are 2 high-octane offenses. They both got stopped early in drive on 4th down. Early in the game on 4th down.
Like you said, Coach, I challenged that Kansas defense, and they came alive. They showed out early in the game. But I'm impressed with this running game of Kansas. I said I love this offense. I said I would love to be a part of this offense. It's because they committed to running the football. And on the first couple drives, they're running the football, controlling the clock. Look at him. Told that thing. Get up off me. Move the chains for the first down. The real deal, Neil. Get up off me. Cut back inside. No, the running backs are doing a real good job, and they need to continue to do this if they want to control the clock. Keep Dylan Gabriel and this offense off the field. Oh, a little hazy. Get up out there. Inside the pylon. Touchdown. They need to lead on this running game, man. The running backs stay hungry. You need to feed these Jayhawks. Stay hungry. They need to eat.
To your point, they're averaging over 6 yards per attempt right now. So they're having their way at the line of scrimmage. They're finding ways of getting to it with the pre-snap movement, whether it's motion shifts and just giving all sorts of different looks to Oklahoma. We talked about the fact they had to buy a couple weeks to prepare for this, so that's part of it. But give the KU defense some credit, too. Not allowing any big plays thus far. Obviously creating one of their own with the pick 6. That's the difference in the game right now is that pick 6 and really the KU defense limiting what Oklahoma's been able to do offensively this far.
You know, while we're expecting some trick plays from Kansas, they haven't worked. So far, when I watched that walkthrough, every third play was some type of trick play. They've run a couple early in this game. They haven't worked, but look for them to come back to them.
We're on a weather delay. As we're watching kind of the crowd dissipate. Kind of worried, too, coming back out of the delay. Will they have the same energy and juice? That fly, everything else before the game, had everyone fired up in that stadium.
You guys have done that rain delay. It's awful. It's bad. Trying to get that team back.
You're sitting in there. You're trying to stay warm. You're trying to stay active.
What are you saying right now, Coach?
I'm always worried about the nutrition because everything's off kilter right now. You know, the 4 hours before you play the game. So, for our players.
So what do you feed when you're on the road?
We would send our strength we'd send our strength coach out for turkey sandwiches and all kinds of stuff. 2-hour rain delay in 2-hour rain delay in Norman, Oklahoma one year. And we did that. We sent them out for turkey. I'm sitting there slapping turkey sandwiches.
PB&J's. We did that game. That was a Fox game.
Coach is making turkey sandwiches.
Nobody said Coach was making the sandwiches.
He just said he ordered it a little bit.
He ordered the sandwiches. But to Brady's point, it's 2 uniquely different locker rooms in this type of a setup. I mean, Kansas, kind of the underrated team with a lead, and then Oklahoma, unbeaten, number 6, playing for their playoff lead. So, Coach, take us into the Kansas locker room and how they need to manage this break and this energy level right now.
You got to somehow get them rallied back up because they did come out to a full stadium. The crowd was behind them. They're beating the number 6 team in the country right now. They got to rally back up. Brady, it's never been more important in situations like this. Not just the coaching staff. You have to have some grown-ass men in that locker room taking control of your team.
Yes,
the leadership on the team.
I was just saying, for the players, too, I mean, you've got a sense now of how they're going to play you. And so now you're kind of talking with everyone else. Hey, these are our adjustments. Here's what we're going to do moving forward. Here's what works. Here's what didn't work. Let's kind of figure out this moving back. And I think KU still has some tricks up their sleeve
for
here
sure.
the rest of the game.
If there's there's an advantage in this delay, Matt, does it fall to either one of the camps?
I mean, look, I think both teams are going to have to try and run the football in the second half. Obviously, Kansas was running the football effectively, and both quarterbacks can run, so I think it's even there. I just think, you know, football is a game of momentum. Kansas came out and had all the momentum going up 14-0. Oklahoma scored, and then they got the ball back, and then they were driving, obviously, with the weather, so they started to gain some momentum. I just think, listen, at the end of the day, you have to manage the emotions at halftime, go through some preparation, maybe some checks. Hey, this is how we're playing, like Brady said. But at the end of the day, it's football, and the weather may clear up, and you got to go out there and play. So.
And this rain came earlier. We were expecting rain in the area later in the day. They're talking about even a wintry mix tomorrow in the Kansas City metropolitan area.
Here we go.
Yeah, it's almost November, right? We're just a couple days away from Halloween. A quick update in about 10 minutes. There will be an updated meeting between the officials and the weather service in the area to try to figure out what things are going to happen as far as the next step. Currently, we are hoping that at the top of the hour we'll be able to resume football, but we'll know more after that meeting. As they like to say, things are fluid right now. We do know, though, 3:30 Eastern, live on Fox, the game of the day in college football. Rice-Eccles Stadium getting set to host those 8th-ranked Oregon Ducks, who are at midfield right now, and number 13, Utah. The game of the day, not just in the Pac-12, but the nation.
More than anything, good to great. We're looking to take that next step to become a great team. Utah has obviously been a really talented and had a lot of success under Coach Whittingham.
Toughness cuts all the way through this Utah program.
We're a very fast football team, very skilled football team.
The offense has the ability to be extremely explosive.
There's a lot of guys on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball that can get things done.
It's harder to stay on top than it is to get to the top. Maintaining success is something that we have to focus on.